Jimmy and Thomas. So looking ahead, we actually got some very exciting new things lined up. For me personally, I'm very excited for the team features, which include project sharing and collaboration. There's dubbing, more natural pronunciation for all of our voices, and definitely more global voices are coming up too. And subtitle customization, such as editing the font, the colors, the sizes of the subtitles, and of course, not last but not least, producer mode version 2. More details will be revealed in the time as they come out. So without further ado, I'll pass the baton back to Carol so she can show you how voice cloning works in action and how to utilize Jenny to the fullest.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. Okay, so we are now going to dive into Jenny. So let me share this screen with you. And hopefully all of you can see this. If you can't, let me know in the chat or one of the team will flag it to me, but I think all of you should be able to see. So as Tom alluded, voice cloning, we launched this a couple of weeks ago. It's been pretty successful. A lot of people have asked for this. And so I'm going to show you from scratch, like how we can build one together. So as you'll see, voice cloning is located here. I have one which I prepared earlier for you guys, but we're going to do one together. So you have two choices. We can either drag and drop a file. We only need a minute's worth of voice cloning data, or you can record your own. So for this purpose, I'm just going to select one that I have. And this one is 1minute, 5 seconds long. And what we can do here is that we can play it back so you can hear it. Now, let me just check that you have, you're able to hear me. Yes, you should be able to hear my sound.
Within 5 years, 200,000 people are expected to move to Nashville.
So hopefully you guys can hear that, but it's just a recorded of a news article. Now, a tip for you, if you haven't done sort of voice recording before, if you don't need an expensive booth, you don't need expensive equipment. Actually, the best thing to do, and this was recommended to us by Charlie, who is our co-founder, is to record this in a closet. So somewhere like a closet, if you can just get your head in, you don't have to get your whole body in, but the clothing will act as a sound diffuser. So you will find that it will absorb any echoes and it works really, really well. So that is a tip for you guys if you are going to clone your own voices, is to try and record it somewhere where there's a lot of fabric or clothing is perfect. So once we clone it, we have our sample. Then we can come here to decide whether we want it more stable or more expressive. Now, another tip I would say is if you are wanting to create a very happy voice or a very sad voice, something that's very full of emotions, the ideal way to start off is by cloning that sample with that emotion, because as we get more expressive and we try to force the voice to be more expressive, it can be more unstable and you can get different results that you're expecting. So we always try and advise everyone to do that. It's very useful and it speeds up and makes your voice clone much more effective. Now, we put some do's and don'ts here, which are really useful. And if you are cloning for the first time, do listen to these as to what a good versus a bad sample of voice. And again, this is all just going to help you create the best quality of voice that you can. So once we have this, I'm going to go for just slightly more expressive. And then we click create your voice. So here, this is when it's going to start creating. And again, you can record your own audio as well. And we have sort of sample sentences of sort of random words put together that you can read out and record. We need just a minute and that's it. So it's pretty quick and easy to do. So once this is finished loading, which should be just in a few seconds, we will then be able to hear a sample of it come back. So let's preview.
May the force be with you.
So this was taken from this and come out through a preview of the voice. Now, if I wanted to make it more stable, more expressive, I can just click recreate voice, change the slider, and it will redo it for us. Now, remember, you can play around with this and upload as much as you want, and it's not going to touch any of your credits. So you can kind of go wild and really experiment to get the sound that you want. So we're just going to say for this one, we're going to click with it. And then we'll come here, fill in whatever you want. So here I'll just put in test, female. You can click what you would like. Now, at the moment, we do only have English, more to come later, but then we can put here style. And this is useful for when you're building up a bank or a library of different voices. So for our Pro, Pro Plus, and our Enterprise, you have unlimited amounts of voices that you can create. For our Basic, you have a maximum of 5. And when you are building up a whole library, it's great to put different styles. So for this one, I'm going to say it's calm. And then click what you want to click, or here, make sure these are all done. Otherwise, you can't add them. And then we can add a voice, and then it will come to our library here. So let's come out of this now. So for the example here that I've used is I've just made a script. Now, I know most of you are well-versed in Jenny, so I won't go through like how to write all these out, but you can upload your script with a Word document or a text document. Either one is fine. Or just type it in, copy and paste, whatever you like. It will automatically separate it out by paragraphs or sentences, depending on how you want to do it. So for here, we just decided to do for a script for a customer service. Perhaps you have a particular brand voice that you want to use, or that you have a particular voice that you consistently use. Or for example, you might be a content creator or a trainer making videos and you want to use your voice again and again. Cloning is perfect for those kind of things. So I've gone ahead and generated it, and we can test out and see what she sounds like. And I'm just going to change the view here to voiceover. Gives you a better view here. So let's see how she sounds.
Hello. Welcome to the All-Star Customer Service Center.
Okay, so she's pronounced it as O-star. I want O-star. So for me, the quickest way to do this is to just make it sound how I want it to. So this is probably one of the fastest ways and most accurate way without having to waste time generating, is to just spell it out how it is. So while that's going on, I'm just going to continue on with the rest of the sound.
Call may be recorded for quality and training purposes.
Sounds
For
pretty good.
trouble logging into your account and password reset, or if this is your first time logging into your account, please press 1.
Great. So now let's go back and see how she did.
Hello. Welcome to the O-Star Customer Service Center.
Perfect. So that's exactly what I wanted. And this again is why I was saying it's very quick and easy if you can just spell it out how you want it. It's going to save you a bit of time doing that. But that's basically it. So voice cloning, as we did with you today, took a few minutes to clone, get your voice that you wanted. To locate it, change our speaker here, and we come down to voice cloning, and all your voices will be here that you can save. If you have a lot and you want to bookmark, your absolute favorites, you can come down here and find them, which will also be, any pro voices, rapid voices, global voices, etc. And that's our voice cloning. So that's pretty quick, pretty easy. And again, the key to this one is having a really clear and accurate voice cloning for what you want. And then it will make life so much easier for you when you are coming to generate everything else out. So the second one we're going to look at is a bit more of an easier one that I know that everyone is very comfortable with, is explain a video. And here we're actually going to use Kimmy. So Kimmy was released as of today. So that's pretty exciting on our part. And we are here, and I'm going to show you a couple of features that perhaps are areas that you are unfamiliar with. For example, it might be our new snap feature or our pin feature or changing the volume. These are kind of very common areas that come up often with us. So I really wanted to take time and show you where these were and how they work, and in kind of ways that they're going to be useful. So for this one here, It's kind of a typical that we would find that you guys will do your voiceovers, maybe your music, save it as an audio file, export it out, put it with another video file, or you'll bring a video file in. So we're going to start with this part here. So again, I'm going to change it to voiceover to begin with. Now I should point out, you can change your view at any point. So when you first make your project, there's a choice between voiceover and video, but it's completely interchangeable once you're in your project. So that also I wanted to make known to everyone. All right, so this is Kimmy, and I generated her just before we started. Now I'm going to just mute this sound for us real quickly so we can hear her voice.
Are you tired of waiting hours for your package to arrive? Well, worry no more. Introducing Quick Deliveries, the fastest and most reliable delivery service in town.
Nice.
Our state-of-the-art technology ensures that your package is tracked from the moment it's picked up right until it's delivered to your door. With our easy-to-use tracking system, you can stay up to date on the status of your delivery 24/7.
So here, did you guys notice 24/7? Now, when you're copying and pasting your text in, these things are going to happen. But with our AI, they are going to read it out like this. And again, if I left it without a slash and just kept it together, she's probably most likely going to say 247. She's unlikely to say 247, so, or 24/7. So I just need to put a space and I'll regenerate her and that should come out fine. And I know sometimes we hear conversations about talking with numbers. And again, like if you wanted her to say 247, my advice is to just split them out. Again, similar thing with acronyms, with capital letters. We hear that often, that comes up. And so let's play her now and see if she will.
With our easy-to-use tracking system, you can stay up to date on the status of your delivery 24/7.
Perfect. So that's what I wanted. So then we have a backing track here. So this is pulled from our library. And again, I don't know if you are all aware of that, but we have a library. So in our resource, we have Pixabay here. And so you can add in images, sound effects, videos, audio, etc. So for this one, I just pulled a backing track for what would probably work well for this type of video. And again, like whatever you create in here is you're able to use commercially. So it just adds, you know, a bit of extra help for you guys when you're putting together videos and things that you can just pull from here. And of course, if you have your own specific tracks and things, you can load them directly into Jenny and use it that way. So let's put this together and see how it sounds.
Are you tired of waiting hours?
Way too loud. So here again, like I would say, like I typically would put it around about a 5 or a 6. We don't want it too loud. And again, one thing to note is you can change the volume of every single voice block. So if you need part of the voice to sound louder, quieter, if you want them to have the music being louder, depending, like, you know, you see that a lot with audiobooks and things. If you have characters and dialogue, this is where you do it. Super easy and great control.
Are you tired of waiting hours for your package to arrive?
That sounds fine to me. So one thing you notice here is the track I uploaded is way too long. And again, I'm sure most of you are aware of this, but we can just drag it. So this is where our feature that came in recently called the snap feature is great. So here you'll notice we'll see a red line. So that red line just makes sure that your video or your audio and text blocks always align at the end or at the beginning of where you're moving it to. And this is really super helpful. I know that in the past, we've had to sort of manually line it up and make sure that it's right. But this one now with the snap feature always makes sure that it will align up. If you don't quite get it accurately enough, as long as the red line is showing, it will automatically line it up for you. And this works also with all blocks, not just this one as well. And it will just snap it back into place. And while we're here, so this, I will show you about the pin feature. And again, I know this is an area that not everybody knows about, but I think the pin feature is a really useful one. So for example, here, when I click on the pin, so that's the right click and click on pin and unpin, I can move the entire block with that pin. And then if I decide, oh, I don't want to have that space anymore, if I unpin, it's going to jump right back, which is super handy. Things where the pin might be useful is, for example, you might have a point where you just want the music to play, or you have a certain sound effect in audio that you want to use, and you can use this space to do that. Or perhaps you might want to move around your blocks. So you might have a part where you're like, oh, actually, I want this to be here, for example. Now, we are working on this eventually. It's a feature that I'm excited that we'll get to, where these will start to automatically sort of move apart. But for now, with our snap feature as well, it makes it super easy to have things pinned and then making sure that things are aligned. And then if I'm like, oh, you know what, actually, I want this back to where it was to the beginning, I just pop it here, unpin, and then it will all snap back into place. So these things, you know, aren't going to dramatically increase, you know, the quality of your happiness in life. But at the same time, when it comes to editing, when you have a lot of different blocks or you have videos and things, it's going to just make things like so much faster, so much easier. And, you know, instead of having to waste time trying to line things up, you can concentrate on, you know, perfecting your voice, your script, all those kinds of things. So that is like super helpful here, which I think is like really, really useful part. And then if I wanted to add in, for example, a video, very simple, add it to my project. So this one I uploaded directly from my file into here. And again, you can see, it's like a bit long. So I'm just going to kind of pull it across and line it up, pull it across here to see how it looks. And I think I'm just going to shorten it to make sure that it all lines in nicely. And again, one thing to note, like your videos, this video I know doesn't have any sound, but you can manually control your sound here, which is super useful. And you can either have it completely off sound, with sound, etc. So if you do have a video that already has sound and you just don't want it, you can mute that all as well in here, which is like super useful. And then when it comes to exporting, again, really easy. If you want to change the name of your project, you do that here. We export in MP4. One thing to remember that I forgot to mention is that we only accept MP4 videos to upload in. So you have to make sure it's in the right code. And then resolution, you can pick from the resolutions you want. If I have subtitles, I can download them as separate files. Makes it easier when you're uploading it, depending on what you need. So this is a good overview of the things that we have here. We are excited to continue this webinar series, and in those I will be able to dive a bit more into creating something from scratch, and also using some of our other exciting ones like our AI writer, AI artist. I think most of you probably have seen these for a little while, but while we have a bit of time, I'll just sort of run through them with you. So again, these are great for if you are creating videos. I saw a lot of you are making social media videos from memory from the poll, and also things like explainer videos, YouTube videos. So we have like set templates here, which you can use. And for example, again, it's one of those things with AI, it's like as much as you put in is what you're going to get out. So being able to describe your service, what you need, and then Jenny will create that script for you. And it's a really good base, is the best way to put it. So if you are stuck for ideas, if you're not really sure what to do, this is really useful for being able to help you start crafting your idea. You're able to edit into it, change it around, make it your own. But it's a really great one to just start off with to give you a base at least to get going and creating your videos. And again, with AI Artist, it's the world of prompting. We give you some images, you can select the styles, and then you can add it directly to your project. AI Writer, AI Artist, to use them again doesn't touch your generation credits. So again, if you are wanting to experiment with those, I encourage you to go and try those out as well. Super useful for those kind of things. And yeah, so let's dive into looking at Kimmy in full go, I guess. So as long as our internet's working well, you would get to see her in full action.
Are you tired of waiting hours for your package to arrive? Well, worry no more.
Oh, our video is like lagging a little bit. That's on my part. But here you should be able to preview it depending on your my internet connection right now is not or she's not doing well right now. But quick refresh usually sorts it out. So let me just refresh this page for us and bring it right back.
Are you tired of waiting hours for your package to arrive? Well, worry no more. Introducing Quick Deliveries, the fastest and most reliable delivery service in town. Our state-of-the-art technology.
And that's pretty much it. And that was like a pretty easy one for us to get through and to go through everything. And now seeing what we have, let's have a look in the Q&A. We have a few Q&A. So I think unless you guys have any questions, I just had a message that clone voice support will be available in API in late August. So those of you who are creating your own, wanting to import clone voices, they will be available in late August. Actually, out of interest, I would like to do another poll. So let me close our previous poll. Just out of interest, have any of you tried custom voices yet? Is it something new for you? Is it all okay? So I'm seeing straight away a lot of you have not tried it yet. It's sort of going back and forth, but it seems that we do have quite a few people who haven't tried it yet. Perhaps in the chat you can tell us why you haven't tried it yet, or is it just something that you're haven't got around to or not sure on the use case? It would be really interesting to hear your thoughts on that. So we have about 30% have tried it. 65% of you haven't quite tried it yet. So that's kind of interesting to see. But I'll keep it open, but it looks like pretty much, yeah, just over a third of you have tried it, which is great to hear. We saw a lot of people start trying that out when we launched, and like we said, we've just had quite a few, like I think we're at sort of 6,000 voices created, which is pretty incredible to see everyone trying it out. I will answer one of the Q&As actually here, guys, just to say. So Brenda asked, what is the difference between Pro and Rapid voices? So let me show you here while I have Jenny open and we can have a look together. So as you can see, Pro and Rapid voices. So Rapid voices are still great quality voices, but they are just used much faster. So they generate much quicker. And if you are needing sort of a very quick, fast voice turnaround, these guys are the ones for you. They are pretty intuitive, but our Pro voices here, so our most recent ones which were launched, which is Caitlin, Kimmy, and Thomas are at the top here. These are our most advanced voices. So they have a different modeling system. And as you could probably tell from Kimmy's voice, I literally didn't have to do almost any adjustment at all with her. They get the context of the sentence pretty well. I don't really have to generate too often, and it comes out pretty great. So that is kind of the main difference. They all used to sit under one bulk, but we split them out because we really wanted to showcase the Pro Voices. And also Pro Voices are now available to everyone, which is awesome and amazing. So that's really useful for us to separate them out, so you guys can also pick and choose. We know that some people don't want to or have time for the Pro Voices to generate, so using the Rapid Voices makes it really fast and easy for you guys. So that's that one. Where did our video clip come from? It came from our so I'll answer that one live from Libby, who asked the question of where our video clip came from. This was created by our very talented in-house design team. So we created, if you look on our website, we created quite a few use cases to demonstrate how we can use our voices, how our clients use voices a lot, and customers. And this is one of them that was just an explainer video talking about a fabricated company. But yeah, so that's where our video came from. So let me jump into the Q&A. I'll come out of this and we'll go back into our Q&A section here. And we can kind of kickstart that off, as there's quite a few of you asking questions, and I think it's important for us to get started on that. So panelists, let me add Charlie over here. If you guys would like to, either I can throw things out to you guys. So let's go with any questions you would like to pick.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Janie. I actually wanted to touch upon James's question. I believe it came up in the beginning in one of our examples. Carol had, respelled the word O star. So it's OH and then the word star. And I think his question was relatable to that. So his question is, when it comes to name pronunciations, can you talk through how we might go about getting alternative pronunciations? Is there any way to train the system how we'd like the names pronounced? And so Carol had shown us a quick example of that, a very simple example. And I think the best way is to spell it out phonetically as it sounds, to the truest way it sounds. And then alternatively, you could use our pronunciation editor tool also to kind of refine it further and have that consistency.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, pronunciation is one that we get a lot, and genuinely, like, telling you the quickest way is just to get out there and spell it exactly how it is. Perfect. What else do we have here? Well, we answered William's one, so that one we've already answered, which we said. So for William, yes, clone voices, as we said, it will be coming out late August for API. So any other questions we want to ask in here? Or Janie, also you had some questions that you'd collected that we had been asked a lot as well, which is quite useful.
Yeah, I think we had a couple of questions about expressing emotions, and I think I just wanted to touch upon the fact that rapid voices, that under that speaker selection, you can filter through what emotion you'd like it to express, and so that does look a little bit updated from before. And I believe that Charlie had dropped it also in the chat section, not the QA section, that you can add expressions and emphasis to your voice in different ways, and so please feel free to check that out. And I believe there's some things that you could do with like the text input, as well as other features that we have for speed and controlling the level of that, adding pauses to make it sound flow to the way you desire, to have intonation here and there. And so I know that that's a common question that we get, and so feel free to ask us more questions about that, because I know that a lot of people, as you're kind of going about your everyday Jenny usage, you'd love it to have more expression.
Perfect. Awesome. And oh yeah, also we will be getting emotional voices in the pro voices soon, but it's just something that we are working on. But that is definitely an area we know emotional voices are highly requested by people. So that's another part that our ML team are working hard on as well for everyone.
Carol, I'd love to answer this question from Pat.
Sure.
Just how do you clone a voice to the quality of Global Pro audiobook? I wonder if you just meant audio, just voices. And I think I just wanted to emphasize here that when Carol was showing us the example of the voice cloning feature, that it is really, really crucial to have a really high quality audio sample, obviously not to that length that everybody needs to have all this studio equipment, but specifically that it has to be consistent and there has to be no background noise and there's no like echo and reverb, because that will really drastically affect the output of what you put in. And so really keep that in mind. And if you click over the preview, you can see like what are bad examples and what types of voices or cloned voices it'll produce after. And so really check that out to see. Obviously generate to more than once to see what that will result in.
Perfect. Great. So any questions? Oh, yeah, Tom, jump in.
We answer Ralph. I think Ralph asked why if it have a soft 18-year-old voice, it comes out older and meaner or hard. I think it goes back to the importance of samples, right? It depends on the quality of the sample that you input. So try to input a sample that's noise-free, that's cleaner, that is more consistent, and then you'll get a better output on that.
So we have one from Perry, which is, what is the best way to retain your credits while trying to adjust the voices in your script? So this one, I think, is like, we do get asked this question often. And I think things to start off with is adjusting the voices. So especially when you're using Pro, like the first point, as you know, is to regenerate. If you don't touch any of the actual text itself, it will not touch any of your credits. So we always advise everyone to go first with regenerating, especially with those voices, because they will put out different results and different answers before touching your credits. And we are focusing and working on our credit system so that it will be improved. And we hear you guys a lot, and we know that we love taking on feedback and hearing about it. So we are working towards being able to do a better credit system so that minor changes won't take any credit. So please wait up for that.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add one more thing to this question, just because I know that maybe a lot of the times that credits will get deducted is by names or certain harder, like more industry specific complex words. And if that's the case, I think one of the recommendations I'd like to make is to spell out the word as it sounds before generating. And that way you're saving yourself the trouble of doing it later. Obviously, there might be times where you might have to refine it. But let's say something like for names, you spell it out the way it's supposed to sound from the get-go. Like, I think that will be a way for you to kind of save your credits there. And then obviously click regenerate if from that point, if it's not to your liking, and see what it'll result in.
Yes.
Great.
Perfect. Any questions for our founders? This is a rare occasion that we have both founders actually on a webinar and actually speaking to you guys. You will see over time that you will see a lot of me and Janie, but if you guys have any specific questions for our founders who are here, now is the time to ask them, like pop it into the Q&A, get them answering some of your questions. It'd be great.
Regarding Mindy's question on bookmarking voices and leaving and coming back in, and the bookmark voices being gone, currently the bookmark works only within individual projects. So if you bookmarked a voice for one project and you left and you came back to another project, you might not have seen it directly.
Great.
Charlie, I think there's one question we can get you in for if you would like to take this one is what inspired you to do this and why your voice is so much better?
All right. Hey everyone. Sorry my video isn't working, so I'm just going to participate with my audio. We started this project because eventually we thought creators will require much more scalability in creating voice-related content in the future. And we wanted to break the barrier for everybody to have the capacity to create high-quality voice content. And at first, our models weren't really that good, and eventually, with more training, with more data, and with more collaborations with our amazing voice actors, we were able to improve the models, and they are consistently improving more and more. And you know, a lot of good suggestions here tonight and today. And you know, with these suggestions, I think we can improve the model in a way that is much more focused to your needs in the future. And, you know, definitely look forward to getting more feedback from you all uh, where we continue to improve our models in the future.
Perfect. Thank you. So we have a question here. Can I use LOVO to make YouTube videos directly? So the answer is yes, we have people who use our voices for YouTube videos. Again, I think this is something that is very popular actually. Like a lot of people who use LOVO do use it for YouTube. So
Yeah, and I'd also like to chime in here. Sometimes we get a lot of questions from customers about commercial rights. And so you are able to download and use your projects if you are a subscriber to LOVO. And so just want to clear that and make sure that everybody's aware. Like if you do have a subscription with us and you do download and export projects, you are able to use them for your needs. So I believe I saw a question somewhere earlier in the chat. And so I wanted to address that as well.
So I'll just jump in. We've had a few questions about API, so let me jump in here. So do we have a video tutorial for using your API? Not yet, but as you have asked, I will add it to my list as looking after content. But yes, we are aiming to do more of these. Either sort of webinars, tutorial videos. So again, like keep those suggestions coming. Again, this is our very first webinar, so it's our first touch point with you guys, and we are loving all the feedback and the suggestions and comments that you are giving us. So yeah, absolutely would love to be able to help you out with that. And also someone asked a question about where was it, API and Python. So I believe the Python client library will be available soon. It's coming, so please watch out for that. I think now's actually a good time. It's going to come in September is what I'm seeing for the API in Python.
Yeah, and also in regards to API, we obviously have our API documentation. For also support related questions, we do have our Discord community available, and so you are able to ask questions to our team and we'll try to answer them. And so please join our Discord community, and that's a place that you can obviously engage and like post a lot of your content that you create with Jenny for the rest of our users as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to post in the chat so you'll see, like, if you haven't seen, we have Discord, we also have Facebook. So I'm going to post both links into the chat here. And these are both the invites that will take you to our Discord community and our Facebook community. We'll also be sending everybody an email tomorrow, and we'll make sure to add the links on there as well. So the more you guys can join these communities, the better it is in terms of being able to speak to us with our tech team and being able to get through and meet other creators and other people and share tips and things. So we're really excited to start ramping this up and get more of a community going with everybody, because there's some really great insights. And with the nature of AI, like, people are just discovering new ways to use it, tips and tricks. So it's super great to be able to set these up and have you guys, start sharing and talking about things. So William said, have you had many people in the radio industry using your product? I was just curious if there were others. Yes, I think we've had a couple. And when I say radio, it's been, again, similar to yours. It's like podcasts. So that seems to be definitely an area that we're noticing, that we're getting more people as the voice is becoming more advanced and more emotional. People are starting to put those out on podcasts. Blaine says, thanks, I love what you're doing, love how this works. Thank you very much. We are very happy that you like it too.
Yeah, and Carol, obviously we can take more questions, and I just wanted to share some questions that I also have that we were asked before. Just wanted to throw it out there in case anybody else was curious. Previously, I had gotten a question from a customer that's, is there any specific script I should read for my voice cloning audio input? And so it was whether, is there anything specific I need to say intonation wise? And the answer is really like to meet all the criteria for the consistency and just make sure that your voice, the script that you're reading, I think anything goes, but just make sure that it's hitting the parameters that we've defined. And I think as long as you're not also including longer pauses or things that will fluctuate with the result of your audio recording would be important. But the short answer is you can really read anything you'd like, have it be a minute, have it be consistent, have it be clear, and then, press go on creating your voice clone.
Yes.
Yes. And then additionally, I'm not entirely sure if this was asked before. And so we were asked about the language available with the voice cloning feature. I think we've gotten some requests to be able to do it in more languages. And so we've heard your requests, and that will be coming up for us. But in the current, we are only supporting English at this time. And so just to have that, I understand that we have capabilities where you can, add the card and the information to your voice clone, but at this time we are limited to English.
Yes. Any other questions? Pop them in here. So Ralph is talking about audiobooks. Yes, we have seen that there's been a definite uptake in people wanting to create audiobooks and using LOVO for that as well. Like, it's definitely something that we have started to take note of. So for us, it's definitely an area that we have sort of made a note of in terms of trying to help out authors in being able to create audiobooks within our system as well. So Brenda says, can you import your script? I think Charlie might be typing an answer to this one. He's just answered it. But yes, you can, as long as your script is in a Word doc or a TXT, so a text file, you can upload it into the resources and it will import it straight into the text boxes for you. Again, as I mentioned before, they will split according to paragraphs, and there is a character limit per text box. So you might see if you have a very long paragraph, it will split that. But in general, it will just automatically put them into blocks for you.
Mm-hmm. And William asks, are you interested in us sharing our use cases with you? I have several projects in the works. And the answer is, of course, yes. Please join our Discord and Facebook communities. And in Discord, we have a thread called Made with Jenny. And that is the place where we'd love to see what you've done with Jenny, what you've created, how you use it. We're always excited to find out more and realize, how our how Jenny is being used every day by our customers, and we're happy. All of our team is just always excited to see the content that you make. And so yes, also Facebook is a great place to share as well. There's not a dedicated thread, but you're welcome to drop a post in, and all of us see it. We are there every day and just checking. And so yeah, please drop your projects in there, and we're happy to take a look.
Yeah, and also we are on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. We would love to connect with you guys on LinkedIn. So if you are on LinkedIn also, you can find us Lovo AI, and we love being tagged. So, you know, if you're posting it on your own socials, please tag us. We love seeing them again, as well as within our community. So that is something that we can do. So is there a story behind the name Lovo? Tom, I feel like this is a great question for you.
I thought no one would ask, but so Lovo is short for Love Your Voice. And we were founded on the belief that all voices in the world need to be loved, and it doesn't matter whether you're a professional voice actor or you're someone down the road. We all have voices that someone appreciates. And we wanted all the voices in the world to be loved and appreciated. So that's why the name Lovo.
Great, thank you. Good question. Anything else? And that's also something that actually, like, Tom and I did talk about as well in terms of the voice cloning. Like, I think everyone immediately also already thinks, directly to something like, oh, making ads or using brand voices and stuff. But actually on the other, like on the sort of talking about, voices that people hold dear to them and things, it's like if we have somebody, for example, family that are far away, and you're able to, have a copy of their voice, they can read, their grandkids, for example, stories, or they can send, voice cards, that kind of thing. And like that is an area that I think is often overlooked amongst all the other reasons for voice cloning. But that is something that we definitely talked about in our team when we were coming up with like the idea of pushing out custom voices for everyone as well. Any other questions, or if Janie has any others stored up from her questions from customers who've asked in the past, or from any of our socials that have dropped in questions as well?
I have hit on a lot of the questions that, and I think the only one that I just want to iterate, which I believe I saw in the chat bot, is about the billing cycle. It is renewed monthly, and it is on, whatever day of the month that your bill is set to recur. So even when you're on the annual plan, that's like how the time allotted for your generation credits. And so just want to iterate that before we're almost ready to wrap up our session. If you have any final questions, please drop it in the Q&A box. We do have a couple more minutes, so we'd love to answer as many questions as possible.
Yes. So while we're waiting for maybe the last two or one or two questions to come in, I will just say that I'll sort of do a bit of a wrap up while we're talking at the same time. Honestly, like I know we've sort of mentioned this quite a few times, but we are truly grateful that everyone has come to join us. We will be dropping a survey tomorrow to you guys, and we would massively appreciate it if you could tell us what you want more of, what we could have done better, what you wanted to see, any particular features, anything that you would love us to demonstrate out during a webinar, all these kind of things. Any kind of feedback you have for us is so important. And again, like the team have been reading through everything as you guys have been talking over the past hour, and it's been so interesting for us, and just really happy that we're able to open up this connection line with all of you and find out more about yourselves and what you do, and concerns and things that you love as well, which is like really great for us to hear. And our team, the rest of the Lovo team, don't get to see this. They don't get to see or hear from you guys. So they are always really happy when we can feed back to them about, things that you guys are saying, because they just don't get to see it. So again, that's all things that we really appreciate as well.
Yeah, and we really read all the feedback and take that into consideration. I think it's something that we really find is really important to understand, like, what are our customers feeling, and how can we be better for you? And so when we see projects that you create, it really excites us in the team about the work that we do here at LOVO. And so that's why obviously we would love to see, more, from you guys in our community channel, specifically in Discord and Facebook. And that's a place that Carol and I are on every day to make sure that we're responding to your questions. And if you have any more feedback, that's something that we're keen on, as we're always trying to make something that you want and to see from Jenny. So yeah.
Yes. Great. So I think so I would say we just had a question come in through the chat about account questions. So account questions, we would say best thing to do is drop an email to hello@lovo.ai. So anything to do with accounts, we always ask you guys to drop that a message because it involves your personal information and things. So best place to put it through. And that's it. So I think, like, we don't have any more questions. We are going to wrap up. Thank you very much for you guys sticking with us through to the end. Really glad that you guys found this some value and had a chance to chat with us. And we will see you very shortly. So please join us on our communities. We'll let you know there when we're next going live on our webinars. And it's been great. So thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.